Hello, you're welcome back to Project Management Demystified. Right, so this is episode 9 of our trying to reduce our carbon footprint as an organization. So in this episode, let's talk about risk management. So managing in project management and even in our personal lives, we identify and manage risks all the time. So many examples of the way we manage risk. You want to catch a bus, you make sure that you get to the bus stop before the time that you need to get to, before the time that the bus gets to the bus stop. You want to get on a train, get to the train station, get to the platform actually, not just the train station. You get to the platform early because trains could leave earlier than planned, like a minute or so earlier than planned, and that you being 1 minute late to the platform could cost you more money, could cost you more stress. So that's risk management. So in our own situation of trying to reduce our carbon footprint, we're still in the early stages. I would say we've been having conversations with teams. So it could be weekly conversations through meetings. You're facilitating meetings as a project management professional. Maybe a business analyst could be working with teams to document their current processes and would enable us to look for the potential candidates of carbon footprint reduction. So I gave an example the other time, say like we send letters, physical paper letters, and we can look for ways to reduce that, and that might even give us opportunities to save costs. So how do we identify or manage risk? So let me say manage risk. So as part of risk management, there's a whole process for risk management. For you to want to manage risk, you need to first be able to identify the risk. So how do you identify risk? One of the ways you can identify risk is by having regular conversations, and an experienced project management professional can pick up risks to the project or operational risk from conversations with stakeholders. That's one of the ways. That's the most straightforward way to identify risk. But so it requires a lot of experience. So you could be having a meeting and someone mentions something that might not necessarily look like a big deal, but because you have experience, you ask more questions, open questions, probing questions, and then we kind of get to a point where we think is a risk that we need to document. So once the risk is identified, we document the risk. And there's a way to document the risk, or we say articulate the risk, so that anyone that picks up the risk can understand it. So there is a risk that's XYZ. This is because XYZ, which could result in. So there is a risk that something could happen, maybe an event or something that could cause a loss or something that could impact the project. And this is because the reason for that thing happening. So what is the cause? And then what the result would be. So in our own situation, we can say, so let's say our technology estate, our technology infrastructure, we want to move some things to cloud and move them from physical on-premise, physical maybe data centers. That would significantly reduce our carbon footprint. And depending on the kind of business that we are, there could be a risk that our systems or our technology infrastructure might be maybe prone or exposed to might be exposed to there may be a risk that it could be exposed to cyber attack or some whatever is called ransomware, whatever, where it is a risk. The likelihood of that happening is slim, but it is a risk that maybe someone comes up with and we need to capture it. So that's one thing, because in the physical world, we can have, someone can make the case that we can have physical protection for our ball. Online or in cloud, there could be some challenges. I don't know if people remember, there was this CrowdStrike. There was this organization that had a glitch that actually impacted a lot of other organizations that use their services. So something like that could kind of inform or bring about us capturing that kind of risk. So, and that could result in the business not being available to serve customers or to serve their clients. So that's just a brief way of identifying and articulating risk. Maybe in the next episode, we can then talk about some of the ways to think about mitigating the risks and what are some of the things you can do. I'll leave it there for today, and then I'll see you on the other side. Cheers. Bye-bye.